That was a failing niche product. What if they'd just given up? There would have never been a Play-Doh. I would have never got to play with this stuff as a kid. Hey, it's Don Skaggs with Empowered Inventing, where we try to help you help other people by taking your great innovation, the right opportunity, mixing that with sound wisdom so you can turn them into real things like products and businesses that make money. Now today, I want to talk to you about the worst selling wall cleaner that became the best selling toy. And if you haven't guessed yet what in my hands here, and I'm going to get up real close so you can see these. You know, I remember these being a lot bigger, these little containers. I mean, maybe they sell them in bigger containers. I don't know. These are the only ones I can find now. But either that or I was a lot smaller. I think I was a lot smaller too. But this is Play-Doh. And if you don't know what this is, it's like molding compound. It's got a, oh, that smell. That brings back kindergarten memories right there. So, but Play-Doh, it comes in all kinds of colors now. I think it used to just be like red, blue, and yellow, and now they have it in like all these different colors, which is pretty cool. So anyway, but it wasn't always a toy. I want to tell you the story about Noah McVicker. He was an inventor at a Cincinnati-based soap manufacturer called Cootall Products, or Cootall Products, I don't know how it was pronounced, back in the 1930s. Noah came up with a product that could clean coal residue from wallpaper, and they called it Cootall Wall Cleaner. So kind of an interesting story just in that all by itself. I mean, this company was not doing so well, and the Kroger company called them, which I thought was neat. Back in the 1930s, there's Krogers everywhere in our area. Of course, we're just an hour or two south of Cincinnati anyway, and this was in Cincinnati where Kroger's based. So they were around back then, and they called Noah in, and some people from Cootall, and said, we need something that will clean the coal off of residue off of wallpaper. And I got to remember back then, at that time, most houses had furnaces that were coal fired, and that coal soot would just get everywhere and get all over the walls, get all over the wallpaper, but there wasn't a good way to clean it off. So they came up with this wallpaper cleaner, and it worked really well. Kroger kept buying it. Things were great. Then the end of World War II happened, and after World War II, homes were starting to go from coal to natural gas. And wallpaper, which used to be paper, why they called it wallpaper, was changing to vinyl. So the market for this cleaning putty started to plummet. So things got bad, things got worse, things got a little more worse, and then all of a sudden the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Now enter Noah's nephew Joe. He joined to help, and Joe had a sister-in-law that was named Kay Zufall, and she was a nursery school teacher. And she was reading in the paper about how kids were liking to play with this wallpaper cleaner to do arts and crafts. And she thought, well, now that's really interesting. So she came to him and said, hey, why couldn't we turn this into a something for that were kids? Well, first thing she did was she actually took some to her nursery school. She was a nursery school teacher, and she took it to her kids, and they loved it. They loved using it. And back then, I mean, it was just white, which was kind of neat. So they could use it for art projects. So they said, well, why don't we try to make a toy out of this? So funny parts of this story are just, and this video won't do it justice because we just don't have enough time. But it is a great story. You should look it up sometime and look into it because it's very interesting, and it's got a lot of different facets to it. One is that Noah in the beginning wanted to call it Rainbow Modeling Compound. Now, can you imagine calling this Rainbow Modeling Compound? I just don't think it would have the same appeal as Play-Doh. But Zufall and her husband came up with the name Play-Doh. And they said, no, we think this would be a better name for it, and I'm glad they did. They made the decision to do that. So in 1956, McVickers formed the Rainbow Crafts Company to manufacture and sell Play-Doh. By 1958, sales had reached nearly $3 million. Now that's over $28 million today. So they're doing all right with this stuff. So what can we learn from all this? Well, just because it's a failing niche product doesn't mean it can't live somewhere else. Think about it. This was wall cleaner, and the use case for it was going away. This would have just went away into history. No one would even know what the Kutal company was, or that they made a wall cleaner back then at all. I'd love to get an old can of the original Kutal. So I wonder if it's anywhere, hopefully in a museum somewhere. You know, that was a failing niche product. What if they'd just given up? There would have never been a Play-Doh. I would have never got to play with this stuff as a kid. So another thing is sometimes a small change can make a big difference. All they did, they added some colors to make it was originally just white, and they added colors to make it fun. And like I said, I remember getting these in 3 cans. They'd sell them in 3 cans, and they'd have those 3 colors, and you'd do all kinds of different things with them. And and that 3-can pack was pretty smart. Another thing is you can be on the verge of bankruptcy and still find hope if you just keep moving. They just kept moving. What if they'd just given up? What if they just quit? What if they said, oh no, I think I'll just pack this in? We'd have never known about this. And they'd have never made $28 million in sales for this stuff, the equivalent of $28 million. So another thing is look for success in unlikely places. Maybe not where you'd normally think. Always be thinking out of the box. If everybody's thinking this way, sometimes you just need to look where everyone else is and not looking. And that's your superpower. I said that in an earlier video. And you can have a good idea sometimes, but it can be in the wrong place. So they had a great idea. It worked great for a while, but it wasn't working anymore. But they found another place. Don't become stuck in one market or one industry. I've seen people do this. The best innovation I've seen happen got borrowed from common items in other industries. So if you're looking for a really deep dive on do I have a $1 million idea? Do I have a good idea? Which way should I go with this? There's a great course, online course you can take on the Empowered Inventing Academy called Do I Have the Next $1 Million Idea? So check that out, empoweredinventing.com. I'm Don Skaggs. This is a can of Play-Doh. This is Empowered Inventing TV. Like, subscribe, and I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, maybe one of those online courses, or on the next video.